All right, welcome to another episode of the Unshakable podcast. I'm so excited for the topic that we have today. Um, it's something that I think we all experience and we all live through. Today, I'm really excited to hear Amber's perspective on it. And so today, we really want to we're talking about these 10 toxic things that'll put you in a self-sabotage, that'll block your life. And then after that, I'd like to talk about the things that'll unblock you, right? But right now, let's talk about these 10 toxic things we allow into our life. And the topic today is self-doubt.
Doubt, yes.
So Amber, take me back to a moment when self-doubt almost stopped you cold. What did that voice actually say to you?
Oh my goodness. So many things. And so I just want to share real quick. I just recently posted a blog about insecurity. And when I think about it, it really is that self-doubt. And I started my blog post because by the time y'all see this, it'll be out for a while. So no spoilers. But if you haven't read it, go find it and read it. But I started out with I'm recognizing how much I've missed out on because of insecurity. And I think we can use insecurity and self-doubt interchangeably through this conversation. And so as I was writing that blog post, I was like, it's not the experiences necessarily. Like, I'm always up for an adventure. I'm always a yes person, right? Like, it's not that I missed out on experiences, but I missed out on relationship and honestly true connection because of self-doubt. And so I was just sharing in the blog, looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I even share a story in there. I just recently joined a new networking group, and it's with beautiful, wonderful women. And one of the things they do at the end of your time together, everyone has two little business cards, and you write your name and number on it, and then who you want to connect with. And so my first couple of weeks there, I had quite a few connection cards. And if I'm honest, which I'm gonna be, I stuck them in my purse for 4 days. Right? Because it was this they don't really want to connect with me. Well, there's no way. They were just being nice. What am I gonna say? How am I gonna open this conversation? Right? And so I got stuck momentarily. And then I took a big breath and I'm like, okay, I'm going to send these text messages or send these emails and connect with these women. And then it was like going into a connection experience with them, a connection call or whatever, whether it was virtual or in person. I'm overcoming that self-doubt because there's still that part of me that's like, they don't really like you. And I recognize that goes back to my childhood, which I think for a lot of us it does, right? Those seeds get planted really young. And it became this, I'm only valuable if I'm good for something or if I'm doing something to help. So what can they get from me in order for me to add value here? And just the realization that I'm having of how much deep connection I have missed out on because I've allowed that self-doubt. If I'm adding value to your life in a tangible way, then I'm worth having around. And that honestly, it blocks, and I don't know that we realize it, right? We can go through life and first of all, not realize that we're having that thought. And second of all, we go through life having that thought and not realizing that it means that we're showing up to perform or to people please. And I think that that's that self-doubt. It really is so I would say the question you asked, I know I totally hijacked that. But that voice is what value are you adding? And if you're not adding tangible value, they don't want you there anyway. And so it's just been this overcoming of okay, right? This self-doubt piece is huge. And I really think that it stays quiet in the background. It's the programs running in the background of our brains. And so we don't even think about it. And in fact, I would have never said that I was an insecure person. I was confident, I was calm, right? All of that stuff. But this internal background program was full of doubt.
Boy, that just unleashes like a whole thing to unpack.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there's so many aspects of that. I think it reminds me of a few hikes I've taken because I have a tricky ankle, right? And so I don't trust my ankle. I don't trust my body. And therefore, I'm more careful and I slow way down and I'm not trusting every step, where the 20-year-olds who've never had an injury in their life are like popping down these talus rocks. I'm kind of like, I'm using my poles and I'm making sure that if my ankle goes, I can still, I won't fall down the mountain, right? And I see where it just slows us down, the whole thing. And then I think about how many relationships we really miss or don't fully show up as because that self-doubt brings on rejection.
Yeah.
Because you're bringing the wrong energy. If you're already kind of rejecting yourself because of that self-doubt, that insecurity, all that's going to draw to you is kind of, you ever walk up to somebody and they're kind of like, ooh, you feel that?
Yeah.
It's really those beliefs that are coming out as your energy. So, I don't know, I'm curious, if self-doubt had a body, how would you feel that? Like, what does self-doubt feel like physically to you?
Yeah. It feels like there's something on my back that's pulling me back, right? Like it's that pressure and that force. Because I think the opposite of self-doubt is walking into a room like, here I am. Right? And here you are, and I'm so excited to see you, right? That when that self-doubt is gone, it's like we're released to really not just connect, but also really serve people. We can't do that in that self-doubt. And so I see that self-doubt as like that pulling me back, and it's right at like my mid-back, and it just wants to keep me. And I'm like, oh, come on. And I think we know when we're fighting against it because we don't feel fully released to show up and be who we are.
Yeah. So do you think it's self-doubt can be protective?
Oh, 100%. Yep. In fact, I shared this in the blog too. I look back at a relationship in my life that has been really hard to navigate, actually with my mother-in-law. And I think, that those relationships can be hard for a lot of people for so many different ways or reasons. But I look back and where her and I are at now, that woman truly loves who I am. And I never knew that before. And because I didn't know that, I was very protective in my relationship with her. And I saw everything through a lens of, I have to make sure she's happy, right? Like I can't bring my full self here because what if I disagree with her? What if I say the wrong thing, right? What if she wants to change me? Like all of these things. And now I'm realizing like, oh my gosh, she just loves me. And so I can show up as me. I'm not afraid of saying the wrong thing or of awkward silence or whatever. Cause I'm like, if she really loves me, this is what she's going to get. And so it's really been beautiful. In fact, last night we met her out for a concert on the square here in the town we live in. And she had had Chinese food takeout. And she had steak and rice. And she was like, are you hungry? Because I can't eat all of this. And I grabbed an extra fork because I thought maybe you would want it. And it was so good, by the way. I was like, yes, I will eat your leftover dinner. And then the sun went down and it got chilly. And I just made a comment like, oh my gosh, I wish that sun would come back. And she was sitting on a blanket and she stood up and put the blanket on my lap.
Oh.
Right. And so it was just but the difference for me now to a few years ago is I can actually receive that. And so I can let her. And so I'm like, it's so interesting that self-doubt inside of me and that belief that was holding me back, that I had to protect myself from her, actually almost completely ruined our relationship. And with all of that gone, now there's a restoration happening. It's wild. It's wild to think about.
Wow, because we've been friends for a lot of years, and I remember the beginning of that relationship.
Yeah.
So it's so cool to hear such an incredible turnaround.
Yeah.
And I think about the performance aspect of this. It really brought up how that can really be disturbing in different places because I don't know, like sometimes it's really difficult to receive if we're operating in that self-doubt energy because we put our own self-doubt on the other person. They're doubting me is the story we tell ourselves. And then we get into this place where it's reciprocal love, right? So I had better do something to make myself worthy to receive whatever they're offering, and so she's trying to help you and you're like, yeah, and we push away and we aren't able to receive because, I myself, I deal with that sometimes. I just got a newer friendship in my life and she's so giving to me and it's like, but I've got to help you too. Like, what do I do in response? And her thing was, you just letting me be me is actually filling to me, because she's got a gifting mix that just is you don't see a lot of that. And she's really bold in it. And I just respect it. And being respected is offering value to her.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize my old self-doubt self would have kept myself small. You feel like it's being held back. To me, it's also like an anvil on the head. It's like, don't stand up tall. And I think it's especially for you and I share a little, we touch in personality point, in the DISC test, there's that I personality. I call it the fire, right? And we're the one who wants to go in and just be like, hey, this is me. But we're like, no, we're too much. We're going to be too much. People won't like me. I'll be that weirdo in the room. We don't want to do that. But we're actually created to bring life into a room. And so I think it's interesting we're talking about this today because I've been really sitting with that of how do we get other people in the same room that struggle with that same thing so that we can help expand together. Like, let's just be open together.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. So where do you think all this comes from? Why do we operate in such ridiculous levels of self-doubt?
Yeah. Oh, I think there are so many reasons. So many reasons. One of it is that I'm too much. It's that fear, right? Like, or what if they don't like me? What if I'm rejected? What if I say the wrong thing? One thing I think that, if you're listening and you're like, I don't know if I deal with self-doubt. Do you ever leave a conversation and replay it in your head to look for what you said wrong? If you do, then you have some self-doubt, right? Like, it's just the truth. I think we think that's so normal, but really that's not normal. Or maybe even the flip side, getting ready to go into a conversation. There is some value to being prepared, right? Like, you don't want to bring all your big emotions and all of this stuff. But if you are like practicing what you're going to say before you say it, you are killing the chance for a relationship. It just cannot happen. And so I think that fear piece is really big. I also think just the limiting beliefs that we pick up along the way. And a lot of them come from childhood, honestly, but not all of them. Yeah. Not all of them do. It could be an experience, an embarrassment that happens, things like that. And then you're just like, oh, I got to shrink back. Or maybe you step out to try something new and it completely fails. And it just bombs, right? And then it's like perfect opportunity for self-doubt to come in. And then it becomes, I tried that once, I can't try that again. So self-doubt I think it impacts our relationships more than anything. But it can also impact how we pursue our dreams and what's important to us and what we want to build in life. When we listen to that voice more than we're listening to who we truly are.
For sure. So what's the moment you can tell that someone's self-doubt is starting to like loosen its grip? Like, what do you see the changes in how they talk, they sit, how do they show up different?
That's a great question. I think, and I can speak from experience, like I can show up now and look for someone else because I'm not needing the constant reassurance that I'm okay. And so I can't remember what book it was, but someone wrote a book and it was talking about that. Like, do you walk into a room and you're like, hey, there you are? Or do you walk into a room and you're like, hey, here I am, look at me, like someone help me feel comfortable here. There's a completely different energy. And so I know that someone is breaking free of self-doubt when they can walk in a room and see me or someone else in the room and not need that reassurance that they're okay.
Wow. That's really huge for me. Somebody who's terrified of networking and going into events that I don't know anybody. I will always find the one person I do know and connect with them first because that gives me that certainty, feeling safe, going away from pain towards pleasure, right? Like, oh, you're not going to hate me. I'm going to walk and talk to you. And then, a lot of times I'll bring what I call my wing girl, right? Like somebody who's going with me that, so I would say there's in areas of walking into a room where there's nothing familiar that is truly terrifying. Even to this day, like I've come a long way in it, but man, that's a really good indicator of self-doubt is when you're like, I'm scared to enter a room.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is, there's so many reasons to that. I know for me, it's like, I suck at small talk. I like to go deep or go home.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. Like, let's talk about the real things, the real raw. That's why I love this podcast is like, let's just be honest about where we are, our weaknesses, our strengths, all the amazing, beautiful things in our life. Like, let's go for that. Don't talk to me about the freaking weather and or the city gossip or like, what do you do? I don't know. What's your tagline? Like, this just, it's not deep enough for me. So I'm like, okay, how do I start a light conversation? Right? Like, it's just like so awkward. And so it's interesting. So, say somebody like me is experiencing self-doubt and really needs to get past that. What advice would you give them?
And I think part of it, you have to keep showing up. And the freedom comes when you can be awkward and let there be silent, right? Like say the wrong thing, honestly.
Oh, gosh.
Right? Like I can see it, like we all tense up. Like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
I have to know what to say. I have to say the right thing. But if we can even practice that in safe connections and safe relationships, where it's like I'm allowed to say the wrong thing, or we can allow some awkward silence and we're both okay. And so I think we have to look back because we all have those moments too, right? Those moments where we did say the wrong thing and it felt really awkward and terrible. And the story we tell ourselves afterwards actually makes a big difference. We can stay stuck in self-doubt after that by reiterating, I'm such a fool. What was I thinking? I can't believe I did that. Right? Or we can look at it and almost laugh at ourselves like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. But I'm still safe. I'm still here. I'm still okay, right? Like, and now I just have a story to tell. And so I think that that's the way we talk to ourselves after those situations that are mildly or moderately embarrassing really make a big difference moving forward. And then even just a practical step. So I was joining a drop-in class and it was online and there was a small fee for it. And I was like, I'm going to chicken out. Like, I just knew. I'm like, I'm going to chicken out and not go to this group. So what I did, I paid way in advance. Because then it was like, I already paid the fee. I got to show up. Right? Like, and so that's even a practical step of like, for my networking group, we have monthly lunches and we have to register online. And so I registered for the next 4 months. Why? Because I know me, and inevitably there will be a time where that self-doubt gets really big and loud, but I'm already registered. And so I'm going. And so maybe that is the first step, like just register. pay the fee, put your name and email address in or whatever. Let people know that you're coming, and then let your integrity kick in no matter what your doubt says.
That's so good. When you were talking, it pulled like so many memories because I have this quirky way of saying something stupid when I'm talking to like the big headliner names. Like I've talked specifically to Tony Robbins. I've talked to Joseph McClendon III. I've talked to Lauren LaHave. I've talked to Todd Hartley. These are big names in the personal development realm. And I could name something in each one of those conversations where I walked away like, Rebecca, you're such an idiot. Like, why did you say it that way? Or why did you do it? And he's never going to want to talk to me again. And it's interesting because likely I say something wonky in more conversations than that. But when it really, like, when it's that, I think you replay even more like, hey, I wanted to do a really good job here, or I wanted to represent really well. And then I said like 2 weird words in the entire conversation, and I'm not even exaggerating. One of them was just, actually, I think it was one weird word. I was saying 1%, and I was way off on 1%, and I could see it in the face of the person I was talking to. That was Tony Robbins, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I wish what I would do is just like, wait, that was not the right percentage. Let me give you the correct one. But no, you walk away and you like beat yourself up for months after that. It's like, why did I say that in that way? Why did I not say that? And it's interesting because I'm not sure it's thinking about it. I'm not sure that it's really because I wait till these big names, because they really don't scare me. They're like, Lauren LaHave is probably the best person to talk to. Like, she's so amazing because she actually, like, they really care, these people. They're really amazing humans. And so I don't get so scared. It's not because I'm terrified of talking to them, but it's my own self-doubt.
Yeah.
But you brought up this really great point of Joseph McClendon III says it this way. He's like, if you want to get over your stage fright, you have to be you go in thinking completely about the service you're offering to these people that are in the audience. Because otherwise I'm thinking of me.
Yeah.
Right? And so with all these slew of memories coming back, realizing, hey, I say stupid things in front of my husband all the time, but I know he's still going to love me. Yeah. So really what's congruent through that is I'm questioning, like, I'm okay with saying stupid things with people who I know will still love me after. Because Amber, I'm positive. No, wait, I said stupid things just yesterday. I did, and I had to contact you, and I'm like, I just caused you more work. I'm so sorry. The pressure, and I was like, and I felt terrible. But one thing I knew is even if it took a while for you to return the message, right? I knew you still love me, right?
Yeah.
So I don't beat myself up as much when it's somebody there. I don't know. It's just interesting to sit with things like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. If somebody's like listening right now in the thick of it, doubting themselves, what's one thing you would say, like, go do it today? Like you said, just keep showing up. I agree with that. Like when I started going to BNI, and I think it was the best thing I could have done, because the first time I went to BNI, which is Business Networking International, if you don't know about it, I went into the room and immediately left it. Thank God I had brought my husband, because I'm like, I can't be in there. I cannot do this. I have to leave. I was like, oh. And he's like, I'm like, okay, you go with me. We're going to go sit down, because, the chair will give me certainty I have a place to land. And it was so bad. I don't think I would have stayed there if he wouldn't have been with me. Right? But I've been doing this for a year now, and now I'm like, let's go. I'll show up in any BNI and talk to them. It does not scare me anymore because I keep showing up. But for you, besides keep showing up, keep doing it, go ahead and say stupid crap. I love that. Like, Amber, yes. Because I am a fire personality, and I just, every once in a while, I try to be dignified. but the fire comes out and I'm just like, hey, this is me, right? And I just goofball. What are some other things you would, some other tips and advice? And you know what, even add on to that some other ways you can be more self-aware of this. Like, ooh, this is self-doubt. How about I do this instead?
Yeah.
What would you tell that person today?
Yeah, I think one of the things is you have to be aware of how you're talking to yourself. And I would even encourage, like, go somewhere, even the grocery store, and look for someone else. Right? Like, seriously, even if you don't say anything, it's almost like these small steps, but like, go to the grocery store, look for someone else, and pay attention to them for 5 seconds. Like, don't make it creepy, but like, look for other people or something silly, even like, I would challenge walk through Walmart and count how many people are wearing red shirts. Because what that's doing is that's training our brain to stop looking inward and to start looking outward. And so something as small as that, right, like could make a really big difference in breaking this cycle of self-doubt in your life. And being aware of it, like, I think we just have to accept we all have it in some level or form, right? Like, I didn't get those business cards and hide them in my purse for 5 days because I forgot about them. I knew they were there.
Yes.
And I just had to admit, like, I am afraid. I am afraid to contact these women.
Okay, y'all, let's just call this out. I challenge everyone who's listening to go get the darn business cards out of your purse or wallet and contact the people that are on those business cards. Because I'll tell you something. Me too. I have a few in my purse that I just have not followed up on.
Yeah.
And I absolutely need to because they're delightful people. Yes. And I love what you said, Amber. It's like something as simple. That was such a simple action you can do that I think would totally change the energy and even draw a relationship to you, is to just simply go to a public place and look at faces.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that automatically, people can feel when you're looking at them. So it automatically creates this connection. Yeah. Speaking of Joseph McClendon III, he has a 50-foot rule, and I love it. I do this all the time, especially right in the middle of a client call. I do it too because I can do stuff under the screen, right? Nobody sees me. But he has a 50-foot rule, and what his 50-foot rule is, anyone within 50 feet of me, I look at them, and inside my heart, I say, I love you. Mm. And so if you're 50 feet from me, he's in his head with a smile. So he puts on a smile physiology first, right? And then he's just like, I love you. I love you. And you can see it on this guy. He's always smiling, always freaking smiling. And he's always telling us to smile too. And you feel that from him when you meet him. Like when I got my picture taken with him, it's just, I could feel that love because he's practicing, continually looking out at others to serve them and love them. So I've employed it because, it's always on screen, right? But under the screen, I'll do a little heart like this, especially when a client of mine is going through something really stinking tough. Yeah. And I'll just make the heart with my hands underneath the screen. And in my head, I'm just like, I love you. I love you. And I think it changes the energy and it makes a connection that you can't make otherwise. Yeah, sure. So, man, I encourage you all to just try even that 50-foot rule. Yeah. They don't know what you're doing, but you're giving love towards others, which gets you outside of you. Yeah. And it's amazing. It's amazing.
It is. Amazing. Yeah.
So as we got a couple minutes left, let's freestyle it a little bit. What do you have on your heart that you would like to add to this conversation that would really help people get that breakthrough they need? Because I think you're right. Everybody has some self-doubt. Why? Because inside all of us, it's like I think everybody has this. I'm not good enough, and because I'm not good enough, I won't be loved. So we're always looking like, will you love me? Will you love me? Right? Both of us are very confident people in general. But as you can see on this episode today, we both battle some of this self-doubt. Both of us. So, you know what? Let's be open and real. Like, you're going to go through this. Like, let's do it together, you know?
For sure.
What are some summary thoughts that you have that you, if you could, you're like in front of somebody who battles self-doubt. Oh, wait, that's all of us. What do you want them to leave with today, Amber?
I think I would go back to what you said when you said, you know, saying stupid things in front of people, but you know that person loves you. That is a secure attachment. And not to get too deep into all of that, but honestly, the more secure attachments we have, because now I'm at a point I can say something stupid and I can come and tell Rebecca, even if I didn't say it to Rebecca, because I know that she's going to love me no matter what stupid thing I said. Right? And so I have these almost anchor relationships where it's like these people love me no matter what. And they are the people that I go back to. And I think inside of that too, what I'm learning is we can really have a secure attachment with ourselves. And so that really changes everything, because now I know that I love me no matter what stupid thing I said or how I show up or how scared I am or even how much doubt I had to overcome to get to that place, right? I love me, and I can learn to be a safe place for me in the midst of going out and being with people or relating or whatever. And so I think that that secure attachment is worth exploring if you're in the middle of this self-doubt. Who in your life truly loves you no matter what happens? Who can you share those embarrassing moments with that will hear you, but also like encourage you to laugh at yourself if that's what it takes, right? Like, well, shoot, you did that. That's awesome, but I'm not going anywhere. And so I think that that self-doubt grows when we abandon ourselves, right? And because then we're afraid that this person is going to abandon me and this person is going to abandon me. And man, if we can just anchor in and like, I love myself, and that is a work, like that is a deep inner work, isn't it? To really get to the spot that you can say, I love myself, I accept myself. That reminds me, I did some EFT tapping with a lady that is trained in tapping. And so her first thing was, I love myself, or I love and accept myself deeply and completely. And so I'm like sitting with her, tapping my forehead, saying these things. I deeply love and accept myself. And we, like, in 30 minutes, I said it like 100 times. But it's like, you got to get that into your nervous system. And so I know even saying that, like, that can feel like, oh, that's a big work. And it is, but it's worth it. It's worth it, because that deep love and acceptance of you will actually crowd out that self-doubt and not leave a whole lot of room for it anymore.
I love that, because I think you just drove it back into Unshakable.
Yeah.
Because you have to first give to yourself what you need so that you can then give to others.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us forget that we have to first give those things to ourselves.
Yeah.
And so if I'm not going to love myself after I say something stupid to Tony Robbins, you know what's going to happen is I'm going to continue to do these things, because I'm now creating that energy and that thought process of trying to not do what I don't want when I really need to be focused on what do I want.
Yeah.
So, and that really is that unshakable that we talk about, is you're so solid inside yourself that your circumstances don't matter. So for me, I have gotten to the point where I say stupid things. I did yesterday. I absolutely did yesterday. Fully own it. You know, and I could have caught that beforehand. I didn't, right? But it was from a great intention. But for me, I was like, okay, but what did I learn? And how have I grown in the process? And realizing, like, I can't always take full ownership and responsibility of how somebody else receives something, right? And so I think leading us back to, I'm going to first give myself what I need. And then I'm going to be focused on looking outward from a place of a filled heart. And that will change how I experience the world around me. And which goes back to, I think we've talked about it on this podcast before, is that self-trust.
Yes.
So I've got to develop trust where I'm trusting me so that I can then put out that energy that will allow others to trust me, even when I fail.
Mm.
So that was so well said. That was eloquent, Amber. So I really appreciated this conversation today. I'd like to do some more of these conversations because this is real stuff.
Yeah.
This is real stuff. And if I can do it with so many people, you can too. And I urge you, Amber, I just want to end with this one thing is I remember walking down a mountainside with you and you were talking about, the person that you are and who you are and how in the past you've hid yourself. And I just remembered in that moment, you just shifted. And as you were walking down the mountain, you were like, hey, and you just said hi to everybody we passed. And you know what you did? You lifted everybody around you. Mm-hmm. And you also empowered me to be more my fire self in the moment too. And so I was like, hey, and it makes a hey for everybody around you. And so if you do the work inside yourself, guys, everybody who's listening, it's going to change and you're going to empower other people to do that. And so, yeah, we can say, oh, it's a big work. It feels big. It feels heavy, whatever, because we're taught not to love ourselves, which is stupid, frankly. But when you do this, it helps you to contribute. It helps you to show up different, and it draws other things to you as well. And so I encourage you to just re-listen to this podcast. There's some gold from Amber in here. All right. Any last words as we wrap up?
I don't think so. This was fantastic. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for sharing your heart with us today, Amber. That was a tremendous, there's some action steps that I'm going into the grocery store next time and I'm going to look for everybody who's wearing red. That is what I'm going to do. So, all right. Well, we bless you guys. Have an unshakable life. We'll talk to you next time.